On this question, we want to use the properties of logarithms and the logarithmic property of equality to solve the logarithmic equation. The equation that we have is natural log of 2 plus natural log of x equals natural log of 4 plus natural log of 4x minus 4. So in this example, we'd like to solve the logarithmic equation using the logarithm property of equality, and that's what I have written down here as the one-to-one property of logarithms. So in order to use this property, we need to have a log with a certain base on one side of the equation and a log with that same base on the other side of the equation. In this example, I can see that I have natural log ln on the left and natural log on the right. However, I don't have a single natural log on the left and on the right. So we're close to being able to use this property of equality, but we're not quite there yet. So before we use that property of equality, we need to use some of the other properties of logarithms in order to condense the expression down to a single logarithm. And the property that we're going to use is called the product rule for logarithms. And that product rule for logarithms follows this format. If you have log base b of m times n, you're able to expand that to become log base b of m plus log base b of n. So if you have a product inside of the log, you're able to write that as the sum of two logs. Now we're actually going to use that property in reverse to condense. So if we think of it that way, we have the sum of two logs with the same base, and we're going to be able to condense it to a single log by the product, multiplying those two expressions together. So that's what we have on the left-hand side here. We have the sum of two logs with the same base. These are base e, and we're going to be able to condense them. We have the same thing on the right-hand side. We have addition of two logs with the same base, and we're going to be able to condense them. So let's start by applying that product rule for logarithms. So I'll rewrite the question, natural log of 2 plus natural log of x equals natural log of 4 plus natural log of 4x minus 4. Just by the way, in case you were wondering why I wrote an e on here, natural log has base e. So we're going to use that product rule for logarithms and condense to a single log with multiplication. It becomes multiplication because we have the sum of two logs with the same base, so that's 2 times x. The same thing happens on the other side of the equation. We're going to condense with multiplication because we have addition of two logs with the same base. So this becomes 4 times 4x minus 4. So writing that a little bit more simply, that's natural log of 2x equals natural log of 16x minus 16. Now is when we're going to use this property of equality. We have a log with the same base on both sides of the equation, and with this property we can say that what's inside the log on the left will equal what's inside the log on the right. That would give 2x equals 16x minus 16. So now we have an equation with no logs in it, and we'll be able to solve this equation. We want to get all of the variables onto the same side, so I'll subtract 16x on both sides. That gives negative 14x equals negative 16. And then we'll divide both sides by negative 14. and that gives us x on the left, and on the right we're going to reduce that fraction. These are both even numbers. 2 goes into 16 8 times, 2 goes into 14 7 times, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive. We have one final thing that we need to do. The log is a function that has a restricted domain. We are only able to define log of a positive value. Log of a negative value is undefined. So whenever we solve a log equation, we always have to check to make sure that the answer we get is in the domain of the logs that we have in our original equation. So we're going to check to make sure that x equals 8/7 is in the domain of our expression. So I'm going to use this original equation to check that. We have natural log of 2 plus natural log of 8/7 equals natural log of 4 plus natural log of 4 times 8/7 minus 4. So what I'm checking is I'm making sure that the places I plugged in for variables will have a positive inside of that logarithm, which it does here and here and here. I have a little bit more work to do to check to see if it's true there as well. So that would be 32/7 minus 4. And 32/7 goes into 32. Let's see how many times. 4 and 4/7. And 4 and 4/7 minus 4 will be a positive. So it also is in the domain of that expression as well. So that means that we're going to be able to keep that solution of x equals 8/7. Thank you for checking out my videos. Have a great day.